Hey, Greg.
All right.
I guess an update on Javier Costa, Jonathan Bond.
Yeah. Javi is starting to transition out onto the field. So, now he's starting to work into the kind of the return to play, get his fitness levels back up, get sharpness, all that kind of stuff. So, that's going to be, he's got a week and change just to get through all of that stuff because he's missed a good chunk of time. Then Bondi has kind of jammed his right shoulder. So I don't know what the official terms of that are, but it'll take a little bit of time just for it to heal and kind of the scar tissue to tighten it up a little bit and to get back going. So looking at I don't know 2 to 4 weeks maybe, probably just rough estimate, but it's all going to be on how he's recovering through this process. Douglas has been on the field. He's starting to do all of his fitness work and running and doing all of that stuff, and he'll be into the training, and hopefully next week he'll start to integrate into the group fully.
Bond, does he have movement, or?
I think he has movement, but it's a matter of the restriction to try to allow the healing to take place over. I don't know all the details of it, but he can move it. It's just a matter of whether he should be moving it right now or not. I think.
So this week the team announced the addition of Julian Aude. How's he fits in your formation?
Yeah, he's very talented. I think he's a very solid defender, competitive left back. He's young. For us, it gives us, again, more opportunity, more looks. Ra is very versatile as a left back and also can play in other roles and other positions. So as Julian comes in, it also frees up Ra for maybe some different duty and stuff like that. We've seen Ra grow in the position, but Ra also has the spirit of an attacking player sometimes with the risk that he takes and some of the things that are out there. So it actually allows us to use Raheem in slightly different ways as well sometimes. Then Julian and Chase give us two guys who can also play that left back position. But I like Julian's game. I've watched him for a couple years now since he broke through and started to break through at Lanús. Because I happened to watch a left back who played before him at Lanús that was sold somewhere else previously. And so I've seen the kid come through over the last couple years, and I like his game a lot. I like, again, he can attack. He's competitive defensively. He also is nearly 6 feet tall, which is not always common for fullbacks in terms of their profile. So I really like his game. I'm excited to get him here. It gives us some versatility in our guys.
It's a 5-year contract. Seems like you and the organization has a big brings for opportunities for him.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who can make his way eventually to the Argentinian national team, who's a guy who can continue to grow in his development as a player and possibly move somewhere else down the road after he wins a championship here and helps our team continue to move forward. So again, I like it. I like as you've seen with some of the guys we brought in, they're a little bit on the younger side with a lot of upside who are growing into our system and our style and are developing. And there's benefits of that in our league as well, to be able to bring players along. But we're starting to have a good mix of veteran players. When everybody gets healthy and get back, we're having a good mix of veteran players, but also young, upcoming, talented players. And look, with the sell of Julian as an example, we were able to bring in Caligari and Aude. And so now you have 2 assets and 2 young, talented players, and Julian goes off to a wonderful club like Barcelona. That's a big win. So that's kind of the process that we want to be in more often anyway.
What's the timetable for his arrival?
It's just in the visa process. So hopefully within 7 days, 8 days, because we've already got a couple days under our belt that it's been in process. So we're hoping things will come quick, but we're at the mercy of that process, which, depending on which country and how things are moving, sometimes determine how fast it can be.
Your thoughts on Portland? What have you noticed? Any difference in last year? Or they're pretty much the same group?
I think they're good at what they're good at, which is, again, they're very good at making a game difficult on the opposition. They'll stretch out and press sometimes, but they'll also go low block, and they can be tough to break down. You have to punish them with the chances you get, and if you do and can get on top of the game, it's not in their greatest interest if they're having to chase games, because that's a little bit counter to what they ultimately want to do. But they also, in the transition, they're extremely dangerous. They have a lot of good pieces that are one-on-one capable, that have pace. Williamson, Chara in the midfield are two very good players. Depending on if Vander is healthy or not, he's another very good player. So they have some good quality, and they have a way that they've always played under Gio, and it's always a difficult team to kind of beat. And if you can get on the right side of the game, you give yourself a better chance than if you get on the wrong side of the game. And so, and how we lose balls and how we finish attacks, more importantly, are going to be really important inside of this, because again, they're a team that thrives off of transition moments, set pieces, things like that.
Raheem said that the first game was probably the worst game he's been involved since he's been here. What's been the progress you've seen over the group the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I thought we had a solid preseason. I thought there were a lot of things that were building, and then we lost the opening match, which was a big focal point for the group to be able to play LAFC in that stadium. I felt emotionally we lost a little bit off of that, but also in terms of rhythm, we lost a little bit. So the first game was, again, disjointed, and we were behind it. I think in this last game, to show some progress, because I think even against Kansas City, which is a really difficult place to play, we weren't great with the ball. We weren't in good spots. We were impatient. Too many guys moving around trying to figure out how do I get on the ball, and not trusting sort of just the positions and the process. I thought we were better at that the other night. Still have more levels that we can continue to improve upon that. And then continue to get the timing and the execution on the final actions. I mean, we put in 3 goals the other night. One was slightly offside. The other was a phantom handball, maybe. I'm trying to think of the best word, in my opinion. And then the goal we scored, that's 3 solid goals. They had 2 cleared off the line in the first half, so those are good chances for us. So it started to move in the right direction in terms of, again, our possession, our chance creation, things like that. Still too many balls lost in ways that we don't want to lose balls, which creates a very vertical game, which I felt the game was too open for the way we want to be. And a lot of that was our inefficiency with the ball in stretches of the game, which led to the game just being end line to end line and very stretched out, which is, it's anybody's game when that happens, and that's not ultimately where we'd like to be. So I saw progress on that attacking side. I thought we were a little more patient at times, but I think there's still more levels to go for us.
And you're going to be this game without Joveljic, Leerdam,
Zavaleta. Yeah, those 3 are with the national team.
A little bit short-handed here.
So we're a little bit lighter for sure. And again, these are opportunities early in the season for guys to step in and prove some of their value, prove where they're at, and state their claim on some minutes, as we continue to move forward. So there's a few guys that are going to have that opportunity, and that's what, when you play in a window, you're susceptible to those types of things anyways, and both teams are going to have to deal with it. So that's the opportunity. I mean, we're still not going to divert from who we think we want to be and where we are, because it's still early in the season, and we're still building into ourselves a little bit.
Your confidence you have in Klinsmann back there. I mean, he came on. I mean, that's probably the toughest role in soccer, really, to be the backup goalie,
sure,
being pressed on. But how did he handle that moment, and how do you see him, stepping forward here?
Good. I love Johnny's profile. He knows that. I think, again, just visually, his size and his presence physically and his athleticism, all of those things he can be a phenomenal shot stopper, and we saw that last year in Minnesota and other situations where just his sheer capacity to cover the goal, his quickness, his athleticism he can be outstanding. So for him, a lot of this is about experience and repetition and continuing to grow in not just his physical presence now, but in his communication and his leadership behind a back line. I loved last week when he came off the line quickly and he read a play behind him, and I think he rushed the finisher and he hit the ball wide. I loved him being aggressive, and sometimes he may make a mistake like that, but for me, that's how you get a young goalkeeper to start to learn all the things inside of the match that they need to be comfortable with. What's their range? How far can they get out to cover the back line? How far can they get and cover things in the box and take them out of the air? Because to me, that can be Johnny's strength. He's a phenomenal athlete, and we're not the biggest team in our center back crew, so if you have a goalkeeper who can extend 5 yards to 3 yards outside of the 6-yard box and take things out of the air, he he provides something, you know, interesting for us too that can really help us be maybe better on some of these crossing situations or set piece situations. So there's things inside of that I feel like Johnny's he's been chomping at the bit for an opportunity to get a little run of games here to see how that looks out. So it's unfortunate and never want Bondi to get hurt, but this is how the game is, and now it's an opportunity for JK to get some reps, see how he does.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.